Hey everyone, John here with Adam, and today we have LG's G7 ThinQ.
Yeah.
It does have a notch, but you can do a lot with it, which I'm going to demo right now. So, as we know, notches are controversial ever since the iPhone 10.
To say the least.
Yeah, and you've been testing a lot of phones with notches.
Yeah.
Right.
Most notably the P20 Pro lately, but that, yeah, I've been keeping the notch on because it also has the same thing where you can kind of black it out to like get rid of it.
So you tell me if this is the most customization you can do for a notch. So I'm going to go into settings, and I don't know if you can get this, Dan. So here we are in settings, and it's second screen, and I want everyone to look at the top of the display right there.
Can you tilt it up just a little bit?
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Okay, so that is with no notch whatsoever. Now you go to standard, and bam, you get the notches. And of course, you can see your notifications there. Now, why are they doing it? Well, according to LG, they're trying to get to a place where you have a phone that is 100% display, but you can't get there yet with bezels, and you can't get there when you still have your camera and your ambient light sensor and some other stuff stuck up there. So what do? You create the notch. So I don't know when we're going to get to the fully all display front-facing phone, but this is what you get now. So you can customize it, and here you can get some different looks. This is all black, where it's a traditional phone screen, and then you can get some funky options at the top to sort of get a different kind of look there. If you could see right there. But really, if you just want the full notch effect, wow, Dan's getting in close.
I do kind of like the different...
You get that, and I'm going to zap away to show you what it looks like. There it is.
I do kind of like the different options that it's giving you, especially this gradient one. It kind of looks fancy, but yeah, and really the big one I think is the rounded corners, because if
check that out at the top.
Yeah,
right?
like rounded corners are at the bottom.
Okay, so that's normal corners, and here are rounded corners. See what happens?
Well, and that matches what's at the bottom bezel as well,
right.
So that it's kind of symmetrical. Honestly, though, I hate really rounded corners, so I kind of probably would go for the square corners.
There's something about it that makes me feel like I'm mishandling the phone in a weird way.
Well, not even that. Like I feel like it starts to cut off some of the content, especially when I'm watching a video.
So how do you feel about the notch? I remember you had a strong opinion. I'm talking about all notches, not
all notches,
not the G7. You had a strong opinion. You might still have a strong opinion.
Yeah, well, the iPhone 10, obviously, first one to come out with notch. And then I started using the P20 Pro lately that has a notch. And obviously, iOS is different than Android and how it handles it. But with the iPhone version, I felt like it was cutting into stuff, especially when I would watch a video and full screen it. It was cutting stuff out, or like reading a web page in landscape mode, and it was cutting it out. I found, at least for the most part in Android, that it's just reserved for notifications.
Right.
So even if I full screen something, whether it's a game or a movie, that it actually stops like when it hits any notch, so it doesn't continue past it. So actually it hasn't bothered me that much.
And I have the other opinion where I don't care about the notch. Any kind of meaningful content that's off, there is no meaningful content that's far off to the side, but you have a different approach to visuals and certainly photography and probably movies than I do.
Well, I don't want to feel like I'm losing screen space, right? I want to feel like I'm gaining something, so which is another reason why they went to a taller aspect ratio on this, because then it's like, okay, here's the normal screen space we would give you, and then we gave you an extra on top, kind of like the V20, which I like the second screen on the V20, but the V30 didn't really, sure they made it taller,
but this is an even taller aspect ratio than the V30, so it's 18.9 by 9 rather than 18 by 9, so you get a little bit more. But again, from my perspective, it's not meaningful screen area. But
notifications, you know.
But I want to see those notifications, and I think it's sort of cool to see it against a really colorful, vibrant background.
Oh, okay, so you would keep it in notch form?
I would keep it in notch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
I like the notch.
Yeah, I like the options.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they have options, because that's really, I think, what people want to have is customization.
Sure. So there are a bunch of other features in the G7 ThinQ. We'll be covering those soon.